I am so excited about this next speaker. Let me tell you why. We needed to ground Excel in something. You can ground it in a lot of things. But today we thought, hey, let's ground it in something around our common values and collective impact. Right? And we wanted to add kind of a New York feel. And so when we started to investigate speakers, we outreached to our network, and one name came back. Dr. Alfonso Wyatt. His bio is in your book. I never read bios because I'm not sure what it tells you about folks. Now, he's done a lot. He's a minister. He has done a ton in this city around youth development, including being formerly on the board of the Harlem's Children's Zone. But what got me is this. I got forwarded an email trail from my outreach looking for a speaker, and I don't think they realized when they sent it to me that the trail of the discussion was included in below. A good friend of mine, Farhad, I don't know if he's in the audience, helped me out to find Alfonso. And under the trail, here's what it said. You will not find a better speaker than Alfonso, but he has literally been the mentor to anybody in this game in New York City coming up in terms of college readiness, youth development. And that trail was not meant for me, but when I read that, I thought we got the right guy. So when I called him, I got into this, gear up. I started counting all the numbers on the phone. And he stopped me for a second. He said, hey, can you just tell me about you? Like, who are you? Like, what have you done in your life? Do you have family? Do you have family? Do you have kids? Why'd you get into this? And I knew instantly why that trail made sense to me, on what he was about and who he is. So we thought, let's bring him in. Let's kick off this Excel morning in the right way. Please welcome Dr. Alfonso Wyatt.
I also have a confession to make. As a minister, I'm used to hearing confessions, but I'm going to make one. I did see the Warriors. I didn't realize it until you talked about coming home, going home. And then I remembered that there was a group, I think they were from Coney Island, on the train trying to get to this. Things have a way of coming back to you. Brothers and sisters, I'm here on a mission. I'm here on a mission because you're on a mission. I've been blessed to be able to travel the length and breadth of this country, indeed around the world. I've been to just about every state. I looked at all of the states, the blue states. I've been to blue states, fuchsia states, indigo states, blue states. You name it, I've been in that state. And people sent for me because I believe that the life that God has given me, the calling that urges me, and the reality that has shaped me says that I had to be in this room. I want to thank my new brother, my new friend, Brother Reverend. He did a little background check on me. I did one on him. That's right. I'll let you know after. So I want to welcome you to this great city. I want to welcome you to this great establishment that is just 3 blocks south of the White House North, just so you know. I've worked with Gear Up, smaller venues. I'm glad to be here. I just heard from my brother that this is the largest gathering. So perhaps this is our Super Bowl Part 2 for Gear Up. That's right. And I guarantee you this, there will be no losers. There will be no losers because we are all winners. I believe, and I'm getting ready to fly now. I'm getting ready when you see me start rocking, Don't call the cops on me. Don't call nobody on me, because this is where I live. I believe that we are all winners. I believe to whom much is given, that much is required. I do believe that when we come forth together, we can do phenomenal things. So I want to thank my brother from another mother. He did say he wanted New York flavor, you know. Brother Reverend, and as I said, I was watching him, and he got this thing down, and he is a believer, and he is a leader. I can recognize him. I feel leadership oozing, and from all of the leaders from all around of the country in terms of what you do. I want to thank you. I want to thank Sister Betty. Where did Sister Betty go? I don't know. Well, she's walking around. Well, I want to thank her also. I want to thank all of the worker bees that kind of toil and anonymity that make events like this happen and happen in a seamless fashion. I want to thank each and every, come on, show your love. So, here we go. Are you ready? Are you counting? Can you dig it? I did know before I recognized I saw the film, when I heard that expression, I said, that got to be the 70s. So excel. That's what's the first boost that gets us out and running. I just got back 2 days ago from, I've been back and forth to the West Coast. I'm doing work around healing, and healing not in the sense of a biblical proportion, but healing those in terms of frontline troops who bring their own issues and concerns to this work. We all got issues. We all got concerns. So I'm kind of still on Sacramento, San Francisco time. But this is our time. And this is where we go. Every time I give a speech, I like to have some kind of thought, operational framework, if you will. And that could be in the form of a title. So my question to you is my title. Are you geared up? Are you geared up? Somebody talk back to me. Yeah, I'm from the call and response tradition. In case you don't know what that is, when the call goes out, a response comes back. So let me back it up. Let me back it up a little bit and throw it back out there. Are you geared up? Whoa, ho, ho. I think I'm in the right place there, Brother Sanjit. I think I'm in the right place. So I'm going to just go right down the line that I got to help organize my thinking, because I could get kind of crazy doing this thing here. I used to do, and I retired from a foundation not too far from here. And one of the things I loved doing was organizational capacity building. And I would walk into organizations and I would ask them this question: do you make, watch me do a little Sanjit. Do you make work work, or do you make work work? There's people that know how to make work work. There are people who go out each day to make work work. I believe that I'm in a room of work workers. I'm in a room of people that know how to make work work. But then we do have some folk that make work work. It's already hard enough. That's why they call it work. It's already hard enough. But we have to make sure that in these times that we're in, that we've got to be geared up to make work work. We've got to speak what we do, not just with each other, but you are under authority to talk to folk who need to know what these results are. It needs to know what you are doing and how you are making a difference. If you're proud of what you're doing, if you know that you're not only making work work, but you're making and helping lives to work, then you need to tell somebody. We don't need secret agents. Because see, you are influencers. You know people, you touch people, you talk to people, and tell them proudly. People that do some work, that they love what they do, they always talking about what they do. Do you talk about what you do? Let them know that you unleash the potential. I got that one. Did you see me shiver? That you unleash the potential that's inside of folk, that you are liberators, that you find ways, that you gear up to help people to excel. It's not just a word, but it is a calling. I don't care how you got your job. You could have went old tech and went through the want ads, or high tech and went through some kind of site and got this job, but I'm here to let somebody know that you were called for this work. Yeah, you were called for this work. There was something and someone that opened up a door for you. There was somebody that got up on the phone and said, I'm going to call somebody. You just sit right there. I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to get you a job. I'm going to find you a school. I'm going to make sure that you are going to be somebody. Don't you know that one of the best things, that one of the best gifts of being a human being is being a human being to somebody else, to let them know that their lives are important? So we're going to make the work work. No more excuses. No more kowtowing to the PhDs of negativity. I know people that got a hysterical memory. They can tell you what didn't work, what can't work, what won't work. They go down there, but they don't know that there's some people that know how to make work work. All right, I'm moving from there. The next is that I want to give you some truisms. I am a fond believer of observing and learning from life. I've been called not because I am an associate minister of a church of 23,000 people. You say, wow. Sometimes I say, wow. But I've learned how to observe things. I can look at an anthill and get a lesson to tell you. Now, we don't want ants in the house, but if you ever observe them, the first thing that I understand is that they're organized. Everybody, somebody say everybody. Thank you, y'all make me feel right at home. Every ant got a job. I'm talking to my brother here on the board. He told me he got an MBA. I don't know if ants have an MBA, but they know how to organize. They got some ants that got to go out and scout. That's their job, to scout. Look for that potato chip, that errant chip. And then they go back and tell somebody. Then the big ants come out. Those are the carrier ants. They go out and carry. It may be a chip to you, but it's a steel girder to them. They have to heave that chip up. I've never heard of an ant saying, I don't feel like carrying that chip. I carried so many chips last week that I am tired. I'm not going to do no chip work today. You go on out and do it for yourself. And then there are the ants that lay out a firmament, a trail that they can follow. And then there's the protector ants to make sure that somebody don't try to jack that chip. And then when they get it back down in the ant hole, I've not been down there, but I have to go on speculation that there's nobody down there fighting, talking about that ship is mine. Yeah, you did the work, but I'm going to take it. Oh, I can get into that, but I'm going to back out of that. The point of the matter, beloved, is that you got to stop looking and start seeing. Because once you go down that route, that's a whole nother place. So I'm going to give you several principles that I believe, you hear my heart beating? That I believe can help. One is an African aphorism, and it states that when spiders unite, they can tie up a lion. There's 1,400 of us, plus some on the way, probably some lost on the subway. We are a force. We're not just people that came to New York and, well, anybody here from New York? Where are my New York folk? You know it. We're a force. And we can be a movement. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. And one thing that I live my life by is never allow personal smallness to get in the way of spiritual greatness. If you got it, just snap your fingers. Now, what does this have to do with Gear Up? You are the transforming station. You are the agent of change. And we cannot allow our personal peccadillos, if you will, to get in the way of work. Because when we get in the way, we create roadblocks that hamper the flow of information. There are some people who are skilled at inflammation, but they forgot about information. So that is why we've got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We've got to make sure that we are who we are. I believe that the greatest advertisement is how we acknowledge our personal public relations department. What is it that says that I am able? What is it that says to young people that this person is a true person? We've got to really check ourselves. And we've got to know that the whole can be greater, I didn't forget, than the sum of its parts. When I was in school, 10th grade, took geometry. I said, what else do they have to torture me? And found out and heard that the postulate that the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. I wish I could go back to my school and find my geometry teacher and said that while what you said is true, I found out that the whole can be greater than the sum of its parts. When we come together and when we work together, and when we realize if there is no enemy inside, then the enemy outside can never harm us. When we come together on one accord, the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. I got to deviate for a minute. When you talk about low-income learner, I want you to know that you're looking at one. I was born in the South Bronx when it was the South Bronx. My parents came up in the Great Migration North that followed the train tracks. Some came up the East Coast, some went into cities, Kansas City, went up to Chicago, and some went out to Los Angeles, all looking for a better way of life. My mama, who is still alive, was a sharecropper. I'm talking about there's poor, and I'm sure my brother from Baton Rouge can pick up on this, and then there's po. We was po. Po is getting a orange as a birthday gift. Kind of po. But one thing that I had, and it wasn't gear up, but I had my mother and my father were geared up. And they did not know all of what was going on in my class and in trigonometry and geometry. But what they did know is that they wanted their son and their children to be somebody. And one of the things that transformed my life was an education, was the ability to have and to get an education. You talk about evidence-based? Oh, no, you talked about evidence-based. Yeah? Some of the people who are looking at evidence-based behavior as it relates to what this work is are beneficiaries of the same thing that they are looking at. I hope y'all got that. I don't know if y'all got that. Oh, I don't hear no snapping. I don't know if you got that. Let me make sure that the plane don't take off without you. We know that education, it's not even a question. It's not even a question. I'm fighting myself not to be picky. Everybody knows that it can make a difference, that it does make a difference. I would rather find money to hook them up rather than to search for dollars to lock them up. I'm on the edge, but that's all right. Thank you, daughter. Hook 'em up dollars, you get more mileage out of it. I've learned to talk to bottom line people. You just can't talk heartstring talk. You're absolutely right. You've got to prove something. And what we can prove is that when people have an education, when people are able to earn a living, and when people are able to share and break generational curses through what they know and what they pass down to their children, in the long run, it's going to give a maximum return on investments. Are you with me? So we're going to make sure that we do what we say we're going to do, that we're going to make work work. Are you geared up? Are you geared up? Are you geared up to be a merchant of hope? Uh-oh. Where are you going now? I tell people that if I had a business card that accurately spoke to who I am and what I believe, it wouldn't say Reverend, it wouldn't say this or that. It would just say merchant of hope. I meet very smart people, but sometimes we can be too smart. If we're so smart that we do not understand the proper role and application of hope in the lives of others, then we are missing a catalytic opportunity to be transformative. Without hope, there is no hope. Without hope, everything stays the same. When I say that I am a merchant of hope, I view myself as one who has been called to launch out into the deep and to effect rescue of folk who are drowning, young people who are drowning in plain sight. Oh, let me get it down in here because see, now I done got myself excited. There's not one person in this room, I don't care where you come from, your title, I don't care if you're from a blue state or a red state, there's not one person in here that picked their family. There's not one person in here that did an embryonic zip code analysis and figured out where they wanted to be. We have to know, and we have to translate, and we have to state to others, and we have to live the change. Are you a merchant of hope? I sail out in a metaphorically raggedy little boat. I go past yachts that are docked, looking for young people. You talk about grit. Sometimes I believe that when I hear the stories of young people and where they come from, it resonates with me. I know what it feels like not to have. And in a world that we have right now where you can just dial up a whole new life for yourself, vicariously experienced, to the point that what is unreal can become real. I tell young people, you don't just have to look at what your device can do. You can learn how to program it so it can do what you want it to do. Why? When you talk bottom line talk, what sense does it make to import workers from anywhere? And this is not to say that they should not work, but it is an indictment that we don't look right in our own backyards to make sure that work is working right here. I'm an advisor for an organization. It's called Mentoring in Medicine. It's a little pipeline. I call it the little engine that could. We have been able to identify and help prep more children of color to become doctors and health professionals than any other program I know of, and especially those that have multi-million-dollar budgets. David John, y'all know David John from the White House? Who know him? Make sure I ain't just making up names. You can just make up stuff these days. Kids, we used to say slippers. David John was one of our keynote speakers, and we were able to make sure that he knew that we existed. There are dreams, beloved, dreams yet to be born. Many of us are really midwives. We are called to help to deliver the dreams of our young people. You talked about being a youth developer. I am a youth developer. I'm a proud youth developer. I worked in a program in Harlem, and we were able to use leadership and techniques of liberating the truth from within instead of trying to pound the truth from the outside in. One of my young people, and I'm very proud, I'm proud of all of them. I'm still in touch. I taught high school. I know where Cadoza is too. I went to Howard University. Any Bisons in the house? Your daughter? Mm-hmm. Tell her HU. One of my young people is the deputy borough president of Manhattan. Had I thought about it, I would have asked him to come here so you would see him. I met him when he was 14. We met him, not just me. There were other helpers when he was 14 years old. He didn't want to go to college. He got a scholarship to Colgate. And a lot of his friends was making fun of him. They never heard of Colgate. They was telling him he was going to toothpaste school. We told him, you going. Not only did we tell him that he was going, we helped him fill out. We were like a microcosm back in the 80s of what you're doing right now. We made sure that he had his application. We got it there 3 minutes before the Columbia University post office was due to close. And he went to Colgate. And the rest is history. Beloved, we got a great opportunity. A great opportunity to change lives. A great opportunity to excel. A great opportunity to motivate. And a great opportunity to prove. When we do this as brothers and sisters, when we do this because this is the bright thing and the right thing, when we work with each other with no expectation other than to be effective, then I believe that we not only shine, we do excel. So you tell young people that it's all right to keep their bright light shining. You tell young people that it's cool to be smart. You tell young people that they should never, ever, ever, ever willingly lower their IQ so that they can fit in with somebody who can't spell IQ. So, as my countdown sister, I feel like I'm on the runway. I want to leave you. I'm a writer, written several books. When I was young, when I was trying to find myself in the early 80s, I had a visitation where I would get up 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and just write straight out by hand poetry that was flowing through me. I never fancied myself as a poet. I'm not saying that I am a good poet. All I know is that it was a conduit for me. And I want to dedicate this as I move from this place and back to my seat. A poem that came to me. The title is The Enlightenment. Children of the light, heed this urgent call. Use thine power over darkness. Stumble, never fall. Illume dark corners in all hearts and minds. Share the precious flame, the tie that binds. Hatred is thine enemy, and ignorance another foe. So band together small flames wherever ye may go. There is strength in number. Remember, ye are light, and every flicker a wound to darkness. This our eternal fight. Deuces, I'm out of here.
Stay up here with me, man. Stay up. Come here. So, folks, I know we're running late. That's my fault. We'll make it up during the day. We don't have a program at lunchtime. It's a networking lunch, so don't sweat being late right now. I want to say 2 things, Alfonso. Welcome to the Gear Up family.
Thank you.
And in terms of Dr. Wyatt, I've been dying to say this. Can you dig it? Yeah. Thanks, man. Have a great morning.